Okay, so before we get the fix started today, I got a few announcements. Tomorrow I'm gonna be spending a long week enjoying the company of my visiting aunt and uncle and introducing them to my saint. So the so if you guys don't hear from me for a week, that'll be why. And then next week the schedule's gonna get a little erratic. And will most likely it will change to be mainly from around 4 rather than the usual 6 and stuff rather than early in the afternoon, mainly due to the fact that I've got classes that day. But don't worry, you guys know I'm not gonna give up. Alright, now that that's out of the way. Oh, by the way, I haven't seen the latest episodes yet, so don't say a thing about how awesome Ducktales is gonna be. Let's begin. DuckTales 20 years later. Episode 5. He's back here! There was a commotion outside the men's room, followed by Huey running in, before grabbing the trash can and wedging it under a doorknob. He then looked around the bathroom. It was clean and sterile, as does a highbrow establishment like that. It contained only a single toilet stall, with a high window lending the room a little bit of the ever-escaping twilight from outside. Twilight, stop trying to escape! Chris! The sound of shoulder impacting the door caused Huey's mind to go into overdrive. Quickly, with no time to think, he grasped the napkin dispenser with his strong fingers and pulled. After a moment of strain, underscored by the battering of the door, was the steady sound of people's voices. The movable top cover of the dispenser came away from the rest of the mechanism. Wielding the thick metal casing, Huey then climbed out of the sink to the nearest window. He swung. With a tinkling crash, the window was open. A moment later, the trash can wedging the door closed was knocked out of place, spreading paper towels and assorted garbage all over the checkered tiles of the floor. The two men in black rushed in, guns in hand, just a moment too late. They fired on the white tail feathers as they disappeared through the window. Heads up, and with a large caliber machine gun waving around the other end of the room, Dewey, Louie, and Lorelei stood. Lorelei had already taken off her impressive diamond collection. It added to the large pile of treasure the Beagle Boys had amassed in the center of the room. The boys had, reluctantly, parted with meager pocket change the two of them carried in their pockets. Louis whispered to his two companions so they only could hear. So, we don't have time for this. Kiwi's in trouble. But the rat can't hit you, Lorelei said, her sensible demeanor quickly leaving her face and habits. If we move, Bonehead right there is going to start taking pot shots. Dewey was paying more attention to the growing pile of money and jewels in the center of the room, mentally counting out the $1 bill, 8 pennies, 2 quarters, and 3 nickels he had added to the pile. What should we do what they tell us, Louie? They're serious. Louie's face was grim, a sharp contrast to his carefree attitude earlier. If we set up a distraction, I could slip away and help Huey, but would you be okay here, Dewey? What are you talking about? How could you help Huey all alone? Never mind, said Lorelei to Dewey. She did turn to Louie. I'll keep Dewey safe. You go. At this point, the three Beagle boys had begun to wander the room, terrorizing and searching the stragglers for jewels they had missed. The swarthy beagle known as Boner was coming towards the Ducks group. He spat at Lorelei from across the room, and it seems he was licking his palms and using saliva to push back his already variably dripping hair. He began to walk towards the goose, leading its shards with his overactive karate. She smiled at him. While he was distracted with her smile, very discreetly he picked a fork off the nearby table. Well, there's a lot of classy ladies around here, but you, I say, are the classiest of all of them, Boner said, licking his lips as he walked and spoke. Sorry to steal your classy jewels, lady, but I got to make a living. Dig? Lorelei smiled. Of course, Mr. Boner, was it? Sit, please. She sat at the table herself, patted the chair next to her. Why would you want to rob poor little me? Taking the hint, Boner smiled and undulated up towards the seat. Oh, don't take it personal, baby. It's just business. When man's got business, even the dave's got respect it. Ah! Bonner jumped 3 feet into the air. The fork placed onto the seat he was out, positioned just perfectly to give his namesake something to think about for the next few days. Ooh! Dewey flinched at the sight of the fork sticking out of the beagle's junk, looked away. Then he noticed that Louie had already somehow disappeared. Looked back towards the hopping beagle, drawing the attention of everyone in the room. Noticed that Lorelei had also gone. Hey! He said, beginning to sweat, thinking himself abandoned. The rattle of a chain-link fence was the soundtrack of the chase, as Huey climbed, jumped, and ducked around town, away from the Post City, towards the boardwalk, and hopefully, eventually, to Sea Duck, in freedom. As he ran up the alley towards the coast, he tipped over a metal trash can, spilling the foul-smelling contents all over the mouth of the alley. As he ran on, he could hear that he could be pushed out of the way of his pursuers. He approached a set of stairs leading down the boardwalks, but skipped them, opting instead to slide down the slick guardrail on his right tail. He winced at the friction, but was thankful for the speed. He hit the ground running. The duck ran to his left, towards the dock, his webbed feet slapping up and down the wooden boards. He looked behind himself, found that he momentarily eluded the 2 men. With his eyes otherwise occupied, however, he couldn't stop from smashing right into the hot dog cart. Steamed hot dogs and buns flew everywhere as the vendor screamed at the clumsy duck in the squiggly language he couldn't quite identify. "Sorry!" he called out as he stood. However, the slippery hot dogs underfoot tripped him up, causing him to fall to the boards once again. He rolled over, trying to get a good look at the 2 men were coming from. He could see them coming, guns drawn. The vendor, seeing the guns, decided that this wasn't worth a hot dog cart, and fled. "Stop!" said the leftmost man, despite the fact that Huey had already stopped. Huey raised his hands, trying to smile. "Well, fellas, what brings you here?" "Huey Duck. The government wants to talk to me." The rightmost man was suddenly a tall tree in the wood, making a long creaking sigh as he fell. The left man turned just in time to catch a large, dented drainpipe in the face, wielded by a shouting figure. Dazed, he fell atop his partner. Both guns were quickly picked up by the stranger, and thrown to the water under the boardwalk. Who? As if on cue, the gradually receding twilight. Bye! Twilight! Was cut as the street lamp up above switched on. The green domino mask was solidly itself first. The long green crepe wrapped around the lithe body, the mask's face as the figure dropped the pipe on the ground. "Are you all right, Susan?" "Hi, Louie." Losing his composure immediately, the Green Phantom gave an aggravating growl. "Oh, come on! What's the point of having a costume if nobody gets fooled? How did you know?" "We're identical, Louie. A tiny little mask is going to hide that. Seriously, it's like looking like in a green tinted mirror." Rolling his eyes, Louie gave a sigh. "Fine. We're getting you out here." "Fine with me." With no more words, the 2 figures sprinted on towards the Sea Duck. "Well, except for that little distraction," began Brainke's Beagle with a sideways glare towards his brother Bar. Slithor balanced his huge stony shoulder with an ice pack strapped over his mud vegetables. "It was a lovely time you had me here with all the creme de la creme of Duckburg High Society. So long, suckers!" The 2 able beagles then turned towards the exit, sacks full of loot, and their dazed brother, and the huge machine gun slung over their shoulders. They began to run off towards the exit at a good clip. Dewey felt an urge inside as he saw the orange backs of one of his family's oldest enemies. Somehow, someway, there must be something he could do. Not just for that $1.73, but for something else. Speaking to the baser insider of the Duck family in the Duck clan. And also, $1.73. That's bus fare for a whole week, and a few bits of penny candy besides. He took a tentative step towards the fleeing beagles, intending to catch up with them, and what, exactly? Account of the death? His mind raced, instincts crunching up against hang-ups, creating a rolling sea of conflict behind the Duck's artificially calm facade. He was about to call out, when suddenly the door slammed shut in front of the thieves, trapping them momentarily inside. Then, from within the restaurant, a billowing cloud of smoke issued forth. For a moment all inside were blinded by white-gray smoke. There was a sound of rustling. "I am the terror that fights in the night," said a voice, below the billowing of capes. I am the bar, so make up your tail cell! There's a few thick impacts of fists upon flesh. Screams and grunts issue forth in between socks and biffs. Suddenly the sound of gunfire issued forth, and the screams of high society ladies. Huey ran forward, his silhouette becoming more and more solid as the smoke cleared. You could see Belfast Bigo, firing his machine gun in every direction, stalking wars, doors, tables, abandoned food. Great leap. Dewey jumped up onto Beagle's shoulders, grasping a neck around his arms. Dewey? While riding the bucking Beagle, he could see snippets of his savior. Purple, red, purple, white feathers. Lorelei, run! That's not my name, but thanks for the version. Twing! That's like an arrow sound more like a... It sounded like a bow and arrow. In an instant, Ballast Beagle began to slow down, before stalling altogether, falling forward onto his two companions, causing a large, anxious groan. His world spinning, Dewey slowly stood, looking up at who he thought was Lorelei Loon. Instead, he saw the wide-brimmed hat, the cloak, the double-breasted suit, the mask. Sorrel? Close enough, said Darkwing Duck. Don't worry about him. I gave him a sleepy shot. Come on, Louie sent me. She reached down with her hand. Dewey flinched away from her. Wait! He yelled, before he began digging into his sack, fishing out $1, 8 pennies, 2 quarters, and 3 nickels exactly. Now I'm ready. The two of them ran out into the city streets, instantly regretted. They were surprised to smell of gunpowder and smoke, and outside was dried yellow and orange near the buildings, and the pike high above, telltale signs of fire. Dewey's eyes shot all around him. There were people running in every direction, some away from the unknown disaster, and a few, in telltale orange sweaters, who worked further mischief. Their ears were assaulted with gunfire, screaming, rioting in the streets. The sticky tang of tear gas in the air signaled that the police had been here and tried to get things under control. There was nothing but a few discarded helmets around. What's going on? Asked Darkwing. You duck burgles don't know how to throw a party. They were serious. They said they were going to own this town. It's finally happening. The Beagle boys have taken over Duckburg. Raising her hands towards the heavens, Darkwing answered, That's just great. What now? Kilmotor Hill. My uncle's money bin is the safest place in Duckburg. If we could get there. Say no more. As he fired a grappling arrow towards the distant roofs. Dewey found a slender arm wrapped around his waist. You say you know my brother? Not well, said Darkwing. In all honesty, we barely just met. With that, they were off, up to the rooftops, towards the stronghold of Kilmotor Hill. Pickle boys? The great family, Huey Duck, were hiding behind 2 barrels of what smelled like pickled fish, staring the strange sight of a team of Beagle boys, mostly indistinguishable except for their numbers adorning their chests, with a few oddballs here and there. There were about 6 of them surrounding the docks, with an obvious focus on the yellow custom Conway L1 sticks that made up Huey's livelihood. Yeah, they attacked just as you left. What are they doing here? Looks like they buried down the city. Hundreds of them. Ma Beagle must have been busy. Huey grimaced. Ugh, I think with that brain. I don't need anything like that mental as taking out space. Louie ignored his comment. You can't escape your plane now. What are we going to do? Same thing my uncle always used to do in these situations, said Dewey as he wielded a small hammer to break a pane of glass. They reached into a glass case, while drawing a long, wide-nosed antique musket and a bag of ammunition. We stand our ground. The main office in the bin was full of battle positions. Closed circle cameras were emblazoned all over the desk, many television cameras. Alarms and sirens went off every now and then. Who Dewey would calmly press a few buttons on his console, causing strange mechanical noises to sound outside, or he simply put the end of his musket out the window and fire. For her part, Darkwing was taking it well. She used to want such gases and future stuff from her father's hideaway, and found that Scrooge McDuck and Drake Mallard ordered most of their equipment from the same manufacturers. So this is the famous money bin, she said, staring at the open safe door, where the cavernous vault stood empty. Where's the money? Banks. We got each 1 cubic acre of money from Scrooge's vault to do as we please. Bang! The musket rang out. throwing the arid smell of signal at the end of the line for the would-be invader. Makes sense, suddenly alarmed. So we got someone past the first lockdown point. The piranha tank will take care of them. Not this time. They're past it. They're past the acid bath, too. I'm not surprised the Scrooge has that. Dewey rushed over the instruments, reading off them. How is that possible? They passed the laser hallway, and the giant mousetrap, and the cannonball, guillotine room, jaguar pit. We've got company. Darkwing and Dewey both took up their positions around the door. Dewey was musket, split running off his slick fingers. Darkwing with her bow pulled taut with a simple deadly arrow knocked into it. Here they come, said Dewey as the single beat sounded out. The door into the office opened. All 16 blocks locking opening easily. Slow creak, the rusty hinges revealed 2 figures standing in the hall. Duck! One of them yelled, before both threw themselves in a down. A musket ball and arrow flew over their heads. The air voice called out, waving his arms from the floor. It's us! He crawled to the light, revealing himself to be Huey. Huey! Said Dewey. You're all right! The other figure stood, closing the door, locking all 16 bolts behind him with practiced ease. Who's that? Blurted out Dewey as the green-clad superhero turned around. Where's Louie? Huey blinked. You mean... You don't... He looked over at Louie, looked very pleased with himself. Huey shrugged. Just another hero. He then let his eyes wander over to Darkwing Duck. Must be a convention in town. Never mind that, said Louie. We need to get out of here. But Kilmortar Hill is the safest place in Duckburg, argued Dewey. Not get out of the money bin, out of the city. There's this no mere crime wave. I can feel it. Something big's happening. We need to escape before we get caught up in it. Leave Duckburg? But... Lee's hands were at the lapels of Dewey's suit. Listen, Duckburg is finished. Beagles have torn it up. It's theirs now. But if we can escape, we can get back at them later. But if we get killed here, it's over, you understand? He gave Dewey a shake. The pin may be safe for a while. But those beagles, there's hundreds of them. Thousands. You should see the way the streets are teeming with them. He'll get it eventually. Climbing up on each other's back to get to you. The rest is stuck in town. What would happen to make Duck Enterprise instead? I can't let that happen! Who are you? Are you thick? Are you an idiot or something? I'm your goddamn He then saw Huey and Darkwing shaking their heads. He really doesn't know. I'm the goddamn Green Phantom! No, that doesn't work as well as the goddamn Batman. That's who I am. Saints Canard's newest crime fighter. I'm the guy who's gonna save your life, whether you like it or not. Huey, DW, we're leaving. He then punched Dewey right in the gut, causing him to double over in pain. Bent over, the duck was easy to pick up and carry out the door, still clutching the musket in his unconscious fingers. Darkwing took a moment to address Huey. You guys really take your sibling rivalry seriously, don't you? No, this is a more recent thing. Come on, we don't want gut punching you. Woe to he who tries. They followed. Dewey woke up a few minutes later, seeing a strangely familiar rumble seat of a red convertible. Uncle Donald. What? He opened his eyes. The 4 of them were crammed into a tiny car, with those 2 strange superheroes in the front seats. He and Huey scrunched a small rumble seat in the back. This is a 1934 Bell's Fire runabout. Where did you get it? I've been looking for one like it forever. Huey rolled his eyes. The suit is buried down and around our ears, and you notice the crappy car? Can't this heap go faster, Phantom? I floored it all the way, Huey. Dewey took a moment to look around. The city was a wreck. Nearly every window was broken. Several small fires had broken out in the garbage cans. Behind them were a few beagles chasing the little car on foot, and in front... Look out! Cried Darkwing too late, just as a beagle boy was thrown under the car. All 4 riders were docile as the body was crushed under the quick-moving wheels. Dewey was the first to recover from shock. So, where are we headed? I hit someone! Yeah, one of the people trying to kill us. Where are we heading? Huey picked up the slack. The Sea Duck! Let's fly out of here! Fine. The Borobog was near, getting nearer. Hold on! Suddenly, it was very close behind. car had gone over a lone staircase, and the bumps were juggling with the four riders around. While final impact, the front bumper slammed into the ground, kicking up sparks, before the car was on the wooden boards of the boardwalk, and nearly home free. "What about the guards?" asked Huey, but Dewey was already filling the musket with gunpowder, packing down a large bullet. "Just keep driving forwards, Darkwing. Got you loud and clear." Louis, emboldened by Gosling's endorsement in the plan, stepped on the gas as hard as he could. The car slammed into the pickled fish barrels, sending you to sea, turning several of the bagels standing guard. Two closers were suddenly out of commission, one with a Mexican hole tearing through his face, sending white chunks of what could reliably be called teeth through the back of his neck. The other shot in the arm, muscless gruesomely, with one of D.W.'s arrows coated in a strong sedative, causing him to slightly slump over, asleep. Remaining four beagles began to swarm towards the car, even as it moved towards them with great speed. "We'll never see them all! Hit the brakes!" hailed Huey. "What? Do it!" He did. The brakes were hit. Huey, had been standing on the rumble seat like a coiled spring, leapt towards the four beagle boys. A whirlwind of fists and legs, using the velocity from the car's sudden stop, knocked the four cars off guard. Whack! One was caught in the jaw by a fist, made hard from bar rumbles the world over, and fingers made clever of the joy of flight. The other was kicked in the stomach. Another had an elbow planted in his leg, a sickening crack. The last one, a little behind his fellows, was jumped behind an insane duck, like the victim of a panther attack. Red-faced and lost the berserk race of it, Huey beat the last beagle of an inch of his life before standing. He smiled amiably. "All clear, let's go!" He then walked up to the cargo entrance of the yellow plane and lowered down the ramp, gesturing for Louis to drive the car right up into it. Louis didn't move right away. His eyes were too wide for him to move. He was too busy thinking thoughts like, "Why can't I do things like that? I'm supposed to be a superhero here!" He then floored the pedals and drove the car right up into the sea deck. Huey walked in after and proceeded to close the back, when Dewey suddenly cried out, "Webbigail! We got Webbigail!" "I hate to say this, boss," said Huey, still breathing hard from his earlier exertions. "I think that's the least of our problems." He pointed out a small army of beagle boys, storming up like a George Romero nightmare. Louis cried, jumping out of the car. "We need to get out of here!" "No, Webbigail, we have to wait!" "I'm glad to see you care, Dewey, but I doubt you can get all the way here from—" But Huey was struck speechless. A tall, horrid car was speeding towards the docks, cutting a wide swath through a crown of warrants. A large, slightly tarred hat was being waved from the side window. "What are the answers, Huey?" "You got it, boss!" He then ran towards the front, and soon enough the propellers began to spin. The armored car had stopped roughly ahead of the crowd of criminals, and Webbigail jumped out. Her sundress was ripped up the side to allow her to run, and her high-heeled shoes were slung over her shoulder. On the other hand, she held the same case he had left Dewey with. She ran, pumping her legs and breathing hard. Dewey ran to the edge of the ramp and held out his hand. "Dewey!" she screamed as the plane began to move forwards. "Huey, stop! Webbigail's not on yet!" But he couldn't hear. Dewey shook his head and turned back towards Webby. She was holding out the case for Dewey to take. "Take it!" "Look, I don't care who you are. You can never mess up this type of scene." He reached, his hand able to reach, just at a whip of the case. There was a moment of uncertainty, before his hand shot out and grabbed Webbigail's wrist roughly, just as the plane moved off the dock and over the wire, causing Webby to hang over the edge of the ramp, shoes falling into the drink. The Green Panther ran up, grabbing her other arm. Together, the two brothers pulled Webby up into a safe distance from the ramp. Mrs. D.W. operated a closing mechanism, and Huey lifted the plane off the ground. Next thing they knew, Dewey and Webby were in each other's arms, embracing and breathing hard, just trying to ride out the sudden rush of adrenaline from her near-death experience. "Dewey, I got the—" "I know. Thank you, Miss Vanderclack." A little while later, everyone had calmed down. The glowing aura of Duckburg disappeared over the horizon. Green Phantom was ranting, up on his feet even as the others were securely fastened to the automatic seats in the passenger area. "That was just way too organized to be a random riot." "These are the Beagle Boys, Phantom," said Abigail, playing along with Dewey's apparent ignorance of his brother's identity. He'd done things like this before. But not this large, organized, or ever on their own. That was a war down there, Webby. Someone waged a war on Duckburg. Perhaps it's a little linked with that little problem we noticed with the Duck's finances, said Darkwing. Dewey's face perked up. Problem? Finances? Tell him, Gadgets. The Green Fam nodded. It's the reason we were in Duckburg in the first place. The Duck Enterprises has been filtering money through the St. Bernard underworld. What? Impossible! Call it what you like. That's what happened. If my hunch is right, something has to do with this crime wave. Could be a coincidence. Coincidences don't exist for us as ducks. Somehow, the BBs and 600,000 are related. $600,000! Louis briefly shrank back, recognizing the texture of his raids. Give or take. Louis could have sworn the smoke poured out to his nostrils. Those! I'll kill him! Did you notice you sounded like your uncle? Yeah, I know. Slow down, Mr. Moneybags, said Darkwing. We aren't killing anyone until we figure out who it was. How do we do that? We don't. That's what we were in Duckburg to do. It seems Duckburg is off limits. They all sighed. Louis sat bungled in, letting the hum of the engines, now a mere background noise, rumble through him. As if listening to defuse the situation, let me begin to speak. Dewey, what about... Dewey instantly perked up. I completely forgot! He reached under his seat, opening a case and pulling out 2 small packages. What is that? asked Louis. The answer. Dewey merely unwrapped the larger packets, revealing a small round globe, like a snow globe, and a single polished dime sitting in the center, with the inscribed year of 1877. Louis was in awe. Is that... It's number 1, said Webby in eagle awe. I can't believe you saved it. I had to. He left it to me. He wanted me to spend it. He was gone. His wealth would go with him, off to be redistributed. But I couldn't bring myself to spend it. We spent too much time and resources protecting it from robbers and crooks just to let it go. He rubbed the glass dome on his hand. Darkwing, who barely knew the lore around the so-called Lucky Dime, was anxious to get on with it. Oh, by the way, I would just like to say, I like the fact that the author here is put in quotation marks around the Lucky Dime. Because you gotta remember, in the Ducktales comics, in the original Scrooge McDuck, in Donald Duck comics, the whole Lucky Dime thing was a myth perpetuated by the populace. Everybody said that his dime was lucky. But we all know Scrooge. Scrooge doesn't believe in luck. He says that number 1 dime is his trophy. He only keeps it because it's special. But for everybody else, they say it's far more important. Any other packets? Dewey nodded, placing the Lucky Dime's case gently in Abigail's lap, before slowly unwrapping the other packets. No, said the Green Phantom. You didn't. I did. I had Webby sell one of my gold samples for as much as he could get for it. He held up another small clear case, which also had a small coin, but had her deduct this first. Another dime? Said Darkwing Duck, unimpressed from stem to stern. Yeah. Independent from my brothers, from my uncles, from crooks or co-workers or leeches. He held up the case reverently, as if it was a precious stone, the star of my fortune, my first dime, my number 1 dime. Well, this looks like to be an interesting adventure up ahead. See you guys next week. I'm gonna go spend time before my uncle gets here watching the new Ducktales series. Oh, by the way, there's a bit of irony from a rumor I heard. It sounds like St. Canard, Spoonerville, and Cape Cosette are all in this universe. Which means that yes, this story was possible. See you next time.